Hey guys, in this video we're going to go over surveys with conditional logic. To keep this video as short as possible, we're only going to be talking about the features of the survey builder that use conditional logic. All other features are going to be mentioned in other videos. So let's get started here. Click marketing on the left-hand side, then survey builder. Once there, we're going to click create new survey. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is in options, scroll down. One question at a time needs to be turned off for conditional logic to work. If one question at a time is on, conditional logic won't work. So make sure that that's off. Once that's done, click back on fields. Now let's talk about how our survey is going to be, or just the basic layout. So it's going to be a survey for, let's say, a dental office, and it's going to be a 5-slide survey. Slide 1 is just going to be a very generic, hey, what's your name, email, phone, that most surveys or forms have. Slide 2 is going to be our conditional logic question. What service are you looking for? And then slides 3 to 5 is just going to be the redirect based on what service they've chosen in slide 2. So let's start off by building out slide 1. Let's drag a TXT field in here and have it say something like, let's start off with some basic questions. And our basic questions, as mentioned earlier, is just going to be what's your full name, what's your phone, and what's your email. Awesome, done. Now let's add a new slide. And this is the most important slide because this is our conditional logic slide. So let's add our conditional logic question. And how do we add conditional logic questions? Well, we do that via custom fields. So we got to click custom fields over here. And then you got to scroll down and click add custom fields. Now, super important, there's only 3 types of custom fields that work with conditional logic: checkbox, single options, and radio. It's 3 different ways of essentially doing the same thing. So you can play around with all 3 of those, but you're going to find out again that it's just style that changes. So choose the one that you like most. For the sake of this example, let's just go with radio. And the name of our field is going to be, what service are you looking for? Now we're going to copy that into the placeholder. And for the possible values, we're going to have braces, and then we're going to have whitening. Then let's use retainer, and let's just throw in none of the above for the sake of the example. Okay. Allow add custom options. Firstly, what does this do? This just allows the lead to put in an additional option. Like, let's say they wanted a root canal. They would be allowed to type in root canal because root canal is none of these 4. Well, technically it is none of the above, but you get the point. Allow add custom options will not work with conditional logic. So you don't want to add this to this question. The reason being, if they actually put in root canal and click next, we can't automatically redirect them to a different slide. So just make sure to turn this off for conditional logic questions. Now hit save. Now if we scroll up, we'll find our question somewhere. What service are you looking for? I have it in here twice because I was running a test before, but this is the one we're looking for. So what service are you looking for? Braces, whitening, retainer, none of the above. Very important here. For the slide that has the conditional logic question, it has to be the only question or field on that slide for it to work. That means that you can't combine a conditional logic question with any other field. So like I wouldn't be able to do that, for example, or I wouldn't be able to add also what's your state, like something like that, right? It has to be by itself on the slide. So make sure you do that, or if not, it's not going to work. Now, how do we set up the conditional logic? Well, we click on the field, and as you can see, right when we click on the field, additional options pop up. So this section, this logic section, is the most important place because this dictates, hey, if a lead actually chooses one of these, where do you want to redirect them? So we only have 2 slides here, so we're going to have to create more slides. So add new slide, add new slide, add new slide, because we have 3 options, right? Braces, whitening, and retainer. So we're going to call slide 3, the braces slide. We're going to call slide 4 I think it was whitening. Oops, got to type it in here. Whitening. Slide 5 is going to be retainer. And there you go. Now, how do you set up the conditional logic? Well, you, again, click on the field, And now we're going to say, hey, if somebody chooses braces, we want to put them to P3 because P3 is slide 3 and that's our braces slide, right? So P3, if somebody chooses whitening, we want them to go to P4 because that's our whitening slide, and retainer P5. And and now for if they choose none of the above, which I know is kind of an odd question to be asking on a survey, but I wanted to show you this for the sake of the example. I'm going to want to disqualify them immediately. You can also, disqualify after submit, but for conditional logic, it makes more sense to disqualify immediately. So I'm going to click disqualify immediately here, and then I'm going to click on options, and here is what I want them to see, or where I want them to be redirected to if you have like a URL when they get disqualified immediately. So I'm going to put something like, sorry, we can't help you right now. Because let's say our dental service only offers those 3 services and the person's clearly saying none of the above, they want a root canal, so we're going to disqualify them. So that's done. Our survey is looking pretty good. We have our basic generic slide, we have our conditional logic slide, and then we have the 3 redirects. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fill up these slides 3 and 5 with additional questions based on the service, right? So I'm not a dentist, so I don't really know what you need to get braces, but I'm assuming you can add questions like what's your budget, how old is the person getting the braces, have they ever had braces before, if that's even possible. So you're just going to fill up all these slides again with additional questions. And how are you going to do that? Well, you can obviously use custom fields again, right? You can use different types of custom fields based on the questions you're asking, and then you can use conditional logic within conditional logic, right? As long as you're obeying the rule of only having 1 question per slide that has conditional logic, you can then throw in a conditional logic question here that says, like, I don't know, braces, have you ever had them before, yes or no? And if they choose no, then you can redirect them to another slide, and you get the point. It's just a tree that just keeps extending its branches. So that's how that works. And let's test it out. So you click integrate survey on the bottom right to test it out, and then you're going to want to click link over here. Then you're going to copy that link, open a different tab, hit paste, and there you go. Let's start off with some basic questions. John Smith is my name, this is my phone number, and my email is johnsmith@johnsmith.com. Let's click the next button, which is down here. And as you can see, based on the answer I give, it's going to redirect me, right? So let's choose retainer. And as you can see, it jumped me to, I think it was P5 in this case, slide 5, because that was our retainer redirect, right? And then you can just probably answer some more questions that you guys would have added for retainers, and then you hit submit. Which submits the survey and the flow continues, right? So another thing I want to show you guys is what happens if, I click next here and then I click, none of the above. Sorry, we can't help you right now. That was our disqualify immediately, right? And that's pretty much it. That's how you set up a survey with conditional logic. There's a lot of additional features in surveys here, such as styling, additional options. You can set up triggers so that when people submit the surveys, we put them into campaigns. We're not going to go over any of that stuff in this video. This video has been long enough. I'm going to create some other videos for that type of content. I hope this video was super helpful. Just reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you, guys.